Chapter 650, The Darkness Body. This chapter is updated by Novels.pl, where any of the emissaries chosen by the Black Market Excellence hold simple characters. Although the Serene Blue emissary's talents were not really outstanding among the 7 kills emissaries, he was still a top presence among those who had not perfected a saintly being. He would be a first-rate talent even among saints' disciples within the Yin and Yang sect. A saint's disciple at the first change of the fish-dragon realm from the Yin and Yang sect could kill the Serene Blue emissary. A warrior at the 6th change of the fish-dragon realm, it was simply impossible. Whoever believed this was a fool. On hearing Half-Saint Yuanlong's words, all the half-saints present gave peculiar smiles. Pang Long was the foremost talent from the Saint Pang gentry, and Half-Saint Yuanlong was one of the forefathers. Since an outstanding talent had been born from the gentry's younger generation, Half-Saint Yuanlong would naturally do his best to nurture him. Lin Yue had become world famous after killing the Serene Blue emissary. He stood out among all the youth from the eastern region. In contrast, although Pang Long's talent far exceeded Lin Yue's, his fame was also very much inferior. Half-Saint Yuanlong wanted to pave the way for Pang Long and help him achieve fame and status. So long as Pang Long put Lin Yue down, Half-Saint Yuanlong would naturally find a way to make his fame exceed that of Lin Yue, through the influence of the Saint Pang gentry. Once Pang Long became famous, he could represent Saint Pang gentry and raise their status within the eastern region. It was very difficult to influence a half-saint's decisions through the use of profit. But they valued reputation much more. Name, renown, reputation, prestige. Even an evil half-saint would not do anything to damage his reputation. So, unless it was a last resort, a half-saint would not even think of fighting a monk below the half-saint realm. For them, this was a humiliating action which would discredit them greatly. Of course, a few notoriously wicked villains did not care about reputation or prestige. They cared about only one thing: fame. The more wicked they were, the more notorious they would become. Half-Saint Yuanlong wanted Pang Long to use Lin Yue to become famous. And since the Saint Lady was around, Pang Long might even get onto the front page of the Eastern Region report if he proved outstanding enough. Of course, Half-Saint Zixiu understood Half-Saint Yuanlong's intention. He smiled faintly and said, "It's true, of course it's true. I've questioned Lin Yue, who explained how it all came about. The Serene Blue emissary was allegedly heavily injured when Lin Yue struck him." Half-Saint Yuanlong straightened his back and laughed. Even if the Serene Blue emissary was heavily injured, it's still no mere feat to have killed him. The Long Living Yard must be congratulated for having nurtured such an outstanding talent. I propose a duel between Lin Yue and Pang Long after the coronation ceremony. They are both outstanding geniuses and have become saints' disciples on the same day. I'm sure everyone would like to know which of the two is more outstanding. All the half-saints present could see how remarkable Pang Long's gifts were. It was almost certain that he would beat Lin Yue. But if they verbally supported Half-Saint Yuanlong, would they be offending Half-Saint Zixia? They remained silent, unsure of how Half-Saint Zixia would respond. Half-Saint Zixia smiled. The coronation ceremony hasn't ended yet, has it? When it ends, I'll ask Lin Yue for his opinion. If he's willing, it would be good for them to duel. Half-Saint Yuanlong chuckled maliciously. He wanted Half-Saint Zixia to be under constant pressure. He stared in the direction of the bronze altar. Each month, at the coronation ceremony, it's a cause for celebration when a genius in the Tower of the Sword earns a sword comprehension from the patriarchs. But I suspect that today's coronation ceremony might engender 2 geniuses in the Tower of the Sword. The eyes of the Saint Lady lit up. Are you referring to Lin Yue from Zixia Sacred Mountain? Half-Saint Yuanlong promptly bowed and paid his respect to the Saint Lady. He shook his head. Lin Yue is indeed talented, but his gift for the Tower of the Sword is still some distance away from earning a sword comprehension from the patriarchs. I was not referring to him. I meant the god's favored daughter from Sunvyard, the Darkness Body. The Darkness Body. Even the Saint Lady was visibly affected. She could not help sweeping her starry gaze outside the ashram, trying to locate the Darkness Body. Finally, her gaze fell upon Hanku. A Darkness Body was a unique physical quality, as rare as a brightness body. It was common for people with this physical quality to die young. Many were engulfed by the dark force within their body before they fully matured. But if a darkness body developed fully, it was even more horrifically powerful than a saintly being. It was said that a successful darkness body condensed innumerable quantities of dark power and demon-like chi. Such bodies could shuttle between the mortal plane and hell, summoning ghosts and wraiths. They could also employ dragon bodies as mounts and send corpses as soldiers. As such, a successful darkness body even terrified saints. Such a physical body was truly horrific. When a darkness body reaches the fish-dragon realm, its practitioner must have attained the small success realm of its darkness body. She will be able to compete with a saintly being. The Saint Lady voiced her praise. A darkness body was a feeble presence at the initial stage of cultivation. A practitioner often worried that the dark force would rebound within him. But as time progressed, a darkness body would become more powerful. It was enough to awe everyone. Half-Saint Jinglan from Sunvyard smiled. This girl with the darkness body has a deep affinity with the Yin and Yang sect. Before becoming our disciple, she practiced the 9-yin sword of the Yin-Yang two-forms sword array. Our senior sister apprentice took her in as a disciple because of this. She taught her the heavenly ways of Qi to control the dark force within her, helping her tide through the most dangerous period. Actually, the Yin and Yang sect was also afraid of the backlash power from a darkness body. A darkness body reaching the big success realm was extremely vicious, able to cause great destruction. The Yin-Yang two-forms sword array was the most powerful two-person sword array within Kunlun's field. It was never imparted to an outsider. It was only because Han Kui had practiced the 9-yin sword that the headmaster of Sunvyard took her in as a disciple. Otherwise, she would not have taught her the heavenly ways of Qi either. She would have left Han Kui to destroy herself. At this moment, Pang Long had already descended the worshipping bronze tripod and stood on the topmost step. His lips curved into a smile as he fixed his gaze upon Han Kui, giving off a sunny smile. All the disciples around the ashram were in a commotion. They were shocked. How amazing! Senior brother Pang Long has earned sword comprehension from a saint. We can only watch such geniuses in the Tower of the Sword in awe. If he succeeds in refining the sword comprehension, senior brother Pang Long's Tower of the Sword will surely increase by leaps and bounds. It's very likely he will become a powerful sword practicer in the fish-dragon realm. He had succeeded with the worshipping bronze tripod and earned a sword comprehension left behind by the 9 changes saint. Pang Long felt proud of his genius in the Tower of the Sword. He strode down the stone steps, came to Han Kui's side and started advising her on the pose of a victor. Junior sister, once you enter the worshipping bronze tripod, you have to show your realm in the Tower of the Sword. Displaying a higher class sword technique will improve your chances of success. Han Kui did not need Pang Long's advice. Half-Saint Jinglan had already told her what to do when she entered into the worshipping bronze tripod. Thank you for your advice, senior brother Pang Long. Han Kui cupped her fists as a gesture of respect. She gave Pang Long a faint smile and mounted the stone steps. She walked over to the worshipping bronze tripod. Pang Long saw Han Kui's captivating smile and immediately felt deep happiness. Even his breathing was still for a short instant. However, when he turned around, he saw Zhang Yuochen standing by the side. His joyful expression vanished, and his eyes immediately turned ice cold. You are indeed quite capable in your sword technique, but it isn't so easy to earn a sword comprehension from a patriarch. Zhang Yuochen had to confirm Pang Long was speaking to him before replying slowly. If even you can integrate a sword comprehension from a patriarch, why can't I? Don't think you are so great just because you defeated me once. You are still some distance away from me. Pang Long smiled scornfully, shook his head and returned to his former place. Zhang Yuochen was speechless. Who had he offended and what had he done? Given Han Kui's talents, she should be able to integrate a sword comprehension from a patriarch. Zhang Yuochen had at one time handed Han Kui the 9-yin sword manual of the Yin-Yang two-forms sword array. Han Kui had managed to practice it quite well within a short time. He knew that she was somewhat talented in the Tower of the Sword, probably surpassing Pang Long. Swoosh! A light column once again soared out from the worshipping bronze tripod. It burst up to the sky energetically. Soon, Han Kui was soaring among the myriad white light spots, hovering 100 meters above ground. Both her eyes were shut lightly. With her hands spread out, she was in the center of the light column, displaying her sword techniques. Her sleeves and the corners of her hem fluttered in the air, and she resembled an entrancingly beautiful cyan butterfly. As the scintillating river streamed back from the sky, a single speck of light fell between Hanku's eyebrows. It seeped through her skin and was integrated within. Immediately, a gentle white glow appeared on the surface of her skin. An illusionary image of a 2-meter holy sword converged behind her back. Almost immediately, the image lunged forward powerfully, entered her back and was integrated into her spine. A thunderous tsunami-like roar instantly erupted from outside the ashram. This is the sword comprehension left behind by Sword Saint Yunchuan 4,000 years ago. Senior Sister Hanku has integrated a Sword Saint's sword comprehension. Goodness gracious. The sword comprehension of a Sword Saint. I'm not hallucinating, am I? The sword comprehension from a Sword Saint was many times more powerful than an ordinary saint's sword comprehension. It was a holy relic that all the disciples of the Yin and Yang sect wanted. Even the half-saints within the Supreme Pure Palace were agitated by this scene. If they could integrate a sword comprehension from a Sword Saint, their understanding of the Tao of the Sword would be enhanced by a vast degree too. This was divine fortune. Not everyone had it. Those who did not have it were envious,